It's all part of the process. It's all part of life. And that's just the way things are.
Hi, I'm Rachel Lynn, and I'm working on paying off my student loan debt and losing some weight along the way. I'm also here to give you tips, tricks, inspiration, and motivation along your weight loss and debt-free journeys. If you are not already, please go ahead and click that red subscribe button down below so that we can inspire and motivate each other together. And stay tuned for the rest of this video. I am going over my November goals update, even though November is fastly coming to a close. That's okay. I still have plenty to talk about. So like I said, this is my November goals update. That is really how things stand as of the 1st of November. So I am going to try very hard not to talk about November because I want to talk about how things went in October, and I'm resetting my goals for November, which is why I call it the current month. However, I am quite a bit behind in my November goals, but that's okay. Things happen. The important thing is that I am not giving up and I keep trying and I'm keeping on going, which is exactly why I like to update my goals once a month, just to make sure that I'm staying on track, or if I'm not, then to realign myself, and if things are too easy, to adjust them and reset new goals when needed. I really hate that there's a glare on my glasses. I'm so sorry. All right, I'm gonna try hard not to have that glare. At the beginning of 2019, I set goals in 7 different areas of my life. I think these goals come from Dave Ramsey, but I'm not 100% certain if they came from him or if they came from someone else and he talked about them. These goals are all in the areas of family, career, spiritual, social, intellectual, physical, which for me means weight loss, and financial. For my family goal, I set the goal to spend more time with my family. I know this one is probably my most vague of my goals, but I did set that goal, and I didn't really have a set thing to do or amount of time or what that was. I just started out the year spending a lot of time on YouTube and not spending much time with my family, so I actually wanted to set that goal to spend more time with my family because I didn't feel like I was spending enough time with them. That goal has been pretty easy for me to achieve, much easier than I thought. I continued to achieve that goal in October, and I have really been focusing on making sure that I eat meals with my family, especially if it is a meal that someone has made for a family dinner, and instead of taking my food back to my room or working on school stuff or working on YouTube stuff or any of that, I just take that time out of my day to eat a meal with my family when that time comes. For my career goal, I actually have 2 different goals. One of them is for school, since I am a teacher, and then the other one is for here on YouTube. And while I don't really look to YouTube as a career, it is a way to make money, and I do earn money through the ad revenue that I make because I didn't really know where else to put YouTube as a category. I did just kind of stick it in with a career. My school goal was to be more efficient with my time, but that goal had to be adjusted once I left my last school that I was teaching at, and now my goal has been to get a teaching job. As of the beginning of November, I have been focusing on subbing as much as possible, and I am continuing to work on getting a job, including putting out resumes and applying to jobs when they come up. I don't want to say what has already happened in November because I do know it's the middle of the month. Things have happened since then, but as of the beginning of November, I was still just kind of working on it. At the end of October, I was finally able to kind of get everything through to start subbing in the public schools. Then the rest of that story picks up in November, and so you'll have to wait until my December goals update to see what is going on in November. For YouTube, my goal was to start earning money on YouTube, and I've been doing that since May, so that goal has been achieved. I did set a goal to have 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I still don't really think that that's going to happen, but I'm not disappointed in where I am at all because I did meet my initial goal, and I am happy with that for the year. I'm just continuing to work hard on YouTube, and I am also working on possibly doing a Vlogmas for December, which won't really be vlogs every day, but it would be like a video every single day in the month of December. So I'm kind of working on that. We'll see if that happens. There's been a lot of stressful things lately and a lot of extra time taken up. We'll see if I can get that through. For my spiritual goal, I actually have 2 goals for that. One of them is to continue giving money to my church, and I upped my giving in the spring when they asked for it. And then I also have a secondary goal, which I keep to myself because I feel like that's between me and God, but it does have to do with prayer. And both of those goals are being met and continue to be met. So that's good. For my social goal at the beginning of the year, I decided that I was going to either meet up with a friend or talk to a friend on the phone or Skype or any of those things at least once a month. This was actually kind of hard for me in a way, especially when I'm working at Keeneland or Churchill Downs. It does make it harder for me to get together in person with friends, but at the same time, I have kind of broadened my horizons over the last few months, and this goal has gotten much easier. I now meet weekly via Skype with a mastermind group that I started. I also meet weekly with choir in my church. I have joined choir, and I am also in a book club. They don't really call it a book club. They just say a book discussion once a month, but it's basically a book club with my church that meets once a month. And so I am constantly doing different things and am being much more social all the time. So this goal has gotten much easier, and it really hasn't I don't really have much else to say other than, yeah, I'm meeting this goal, and it's a lot easier than it was. Editing Rachel here, and I just realized that I actually was supposed to make a phone call, and I was supposed to do this like way back since like April, and kept forgetting about the phone call that I needed to make. And I finally made that phone call. To be honest, it was on November 2nd, but because it was so close to the end of the month, I'm going to count it as done, checked off. I'm not going to talk about it going into the next month. So I did make that phone call to that one particular friend that I kept meaning to call for months and months and months. And I kept putting it off because I knew it was going to be a long phone call, and we talked for like 2 or 3 hours. So it was a really good long phone call, but it got done. So yay. Going into 2020, I am beginning to think about my 2020 goals, and I'm not going to go over them right now, but and I'm not even sure if I'm going to do the same format that I have done this year, but if I do, this social goal, that needs to change because, I mean, like, I'm constantly meeting with people now. For my intellectual goal, my goal was to read at least one book a month. I had no stipulations. It didn't have to be any certain kind of book, just read a book. In October, I was driving back and forth to Keeneland a lot, which is about an hour away from me, and so I actually got to listen to a couple of different books on CD. In September, I listened to The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared, and I talked about that book last month, and I enjoyed it very much. And there was a sequel, and so I listened to The Accidental Further Adventures of the 100-Year-Old Man, and I did not like this one quite as much. I mean, it was still good. It was still okay, I guess. I don't know. I just thought the first one was really good, and the second one was just kind of like, okay. But it was another book that I listened to, and then I also listened to another book. This one was The Ballad of Tom Dooley. This book is based on the true story of the song that is based on the true story of a man named actually Tom Dula, but they called him Tom Dooley in the song, and the song doesn't quite tell the whole story like the book does. And I just have to say that this was one like messed up story. The main narrator, oh my goodness, she's like totally crazy. It was a very intriguing book, I guess. It was interesting to read, listen to, I guess. It was very interesting to listen to. And I did enjoy it, but it was just like a very messed up story for sure. If you are unfamiliar with the song Tom Dooley, or The Ballad of Tom Dooley, maybe it's The Ballad, I don't even know if that's the official title, but if you have never heard it, I don't want to get any copyright claims or anything like that on my channel, so I am going to leave a link in the description that is the original singers of the song. Then I also had time to read another book. I read another Kristen Hanna book. If you have been following my goals this year, then you will know this. I think this is my 5th Kristen Hanna book. 4th or 5th. I don't even know. I've lost count at this point. I read the book Homefront. This is one of her earlier works. I think it's one of her earlier works. And the story is a much more modern story. She usually does a lot of stories that take place in the past. I think the month before I read The Nightingale. That took place in World War II. And then there was another book, I can't remember the name of it, and it took place like in the 60s or 70s. So this one was much more modern, and but it still had to do with war and mother-daughter relationships and all of that. So she's a great storyteller when it comes to those topics. And so I really did enjoy this book as well, although I will have to say The Nightingale is still my favorite out of all of the books of hers that I've read. For my weight loss goal for the year, my goal was to lose 50 pounds by the end of the year. I thought this was a very doable goal and thought it would be almost easy, but I was very wrong. I had a lot of other kind of little goals that went into that, including running a 5K every month and a 10K by the end of the year. I was also counting my mileage when it came to walking and running, and I wanted to beat that mileage. Well, the last couple months, I have really been struggling in this area. And thankfully, Rebecca from Quest to Fire and Dawn from Sensible Living with Money Mom and I have all teamed up to help support each other. And we have been doing the Health is Wealth collab, talking about our health and just how important it is when you are unhealthy and your body is unhealthy, especially as you age. It costs a lot more money to keep yourself going. And so health really is the key to wealth. So if you have been a part of that conversation, then you should know that I did actually gain weight this month. So at the beginning of last month, I weighed 242.9. And then at the beginning of November, I weighed 246.9. So that is a 4-pound gain from month to month. Last month I talked about how, because I haven't been making a steady income since I do not have a full-time job, I wanted to do a 5K at home. And actually, I think I needed to do 2 of them to make up from the month before. Well, I didn't do any at-home 5Ks. I would say that I need to do 3 5Ks in the month of November to make up for the 2 that I didn't do. However, it is the middle of November already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I need to do 2 at-home 5Ks in the month of November and 2 at-home 5Ks in the month of December. This can be walking or running. It can be on the treadmill. It can be outside. However I want to do it, I need to do it. I also need to focus more on my food, and then I will be incorporating my weight loss allocation money into my groceries as needed in order to buy healthier food for myself. So as of the beginning of the year compared to now, I am still down about 10 pounds. So that's good. I'm still down. However, I'm nowhere near that 50-pound goal. And there's only 2 months left in the year. I know that in order to lose weight healthily, I won't make my goal of losing 50 pounds by the end of the year. I'm really just going to focus on doing what I can for now and keeping my weight down. My new goal before the end of the year is that I have lost more than 10 pounds from the beginning of the year. This is going to be extremely difficult as the holidays are coming up. My birthday is smack dab in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Well, not really smack dab in between. It's really more like my birthday is really close to Thanksgiving. It's going to be hard, but I'm just going to have to work hard so that I don't lose the progress that I've already made. And so that's basically my goal at this point, is to not lose any more progress. For my financial goal for the year, I wanted to have paid $20,000 towards my student loans by the end of the year. Unfortunately, I don't think that this is going to happen. In the month of October, I only paid $110 towards my student loans. That's my minimum payment. That's all I'm paying while I do not have a full-time job. That means I have paid about $8,200 towards my student loans total. I do still have money in savings to pay towards my student loans once I have a full-time job, but even if I put all of that towards my student loans, it still wouldn't be $20,000. I know that I'm not going to make the goal because I don't have enough to pay. And even if I had been paying all along, I'm not even sure if I would have completely made that goal. It would have been close, and I would still be proud of myself. And I am still so proud of how far I have come this year. $8,200 towards my student loans paid. Keep in mind that I have not had a job and not been paid for about 6 months out of the year. That's pretty impressive. That's great. I wish it was more, but unfortunately, life circumstances. I left my job and I had to protect myself financially and hold on to that money. There are a lot of other things that I could have been doing to make more money over the last few months, and there have been a few things that I've spent money on, such as a new computer, and I went to FinCon, and those things cost money, and I made the decisions that I made, and I have to live with that. So I am proud of the amount of money that I have put towards my debt, but I wish it was more. I really just have to keep working hard, keep making money, keep earning more and more money as I can, and just keep applying it towards my debt. However, I am not going to allow my mental health or physical health to become at risk because of me wanting to make more money. If you have been following my journey and you know what has been going on so far in the month of November, which I don't really want to talk about too much, then you'll kind of know a little bit of what I'm talking about. Otherwise, I think I will pick this back up when I talk about my goals for December. While I have not completely done perfectly on all of my goals, I'm still really proud of how far I've come so far, and I look forward to seeing how much farther I can come in the next 2 months. And then even beyond that, time still goes on. I'm still kind of looking at how I want to format my goals and the videos talking about my goals for the year of 2020. So you can also look forward to that. I think that goals are super important to continue to talk about your goals and check in with your goals and just kind of adjust your goals as needed. Many of my goals I've done fine, and some of them I had to amp them up. Some of my goals I've had to lower my expectations. It's all part of the process. It's all part of life, and that's just the way things are. I hope that if you are working towards your goals, you are proud of the progress you've made, even if you didn't quite reach them. So I would love to know from you, what are some goals that you set for yourself, whether it was the beginning of the year, the beginning of the month, or even just today? What goals do you have? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know your goals and how you're doing. That is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.